Hello and welcome to my Monday message. This week we're continuing our short series about self-awareness and self-management. And we're going to be talking about something quite deep this week because we're talking about what goes wrong and what does it feel like when you act in a way that is out of alignment with your core values and who you really are. Because we all do it from time to time. And if you are really self-aware, if you know what your core values, your core beliefs, your core moral code really are, if you will, you know who you are when you're alone in the dark, you know the content of your own soul, then when you act out of alignment with that, it shows up in your life as guilt and regret. And that's not very nice. But the thing about guilt and regret is that you can learn from them. They're good teachers because guilt is, I did a thing badly, not I am a bad person. So you can move past it and you can learn from it. However, if you're not quite so self-aware about those core values and who you really are at your core, then unfortunately, when you act out of alignment, it shows up as shame and anxiety. And shame and anxiety are much more about I'm a bad person rather than I did a thing badly. And that's harder to learn from because it's existential. It's about your identity. So let's look at our usual 2x2 grid. And if we take the vertical axis as being integrity and we take the horizontal axis as being comfort. Now there are people in the bottom left-hand corner who effectively are slaves to fortune. They don't really have much choice and they find themselves, without very much comfort, having to do things that don't really have much integrity. In other words, they are forced by circumstances to act out of character, and that makes them very stressed out and very unhappy. Then we've got people who live in the top right-hand corner. Now, these are people who are kind of on easy street because it's very comfortable for them to act with integrity, which means that maybe they're not actually getting called into question all that often, because when it's really easy to act with integrity, that might well be because circumstances are in your favor. Then you've got the other two boxes, and these are the boxes that we really need to make our main focus, because down in the bottom right, you have the people who are doing what is comfortable rather than doing what is right. And this happens a lot. It might have even happened to you. I know it's certainly happened to me in the past, where you find yourself going along to get along. You'll find yourself being either a sheep or a dog's body, because fundamentally that's just easier than calling people out for their views or doing what you know is right because it's socially awkward to do it. Then, of course, you've got where we all aspire to be, which is that top left-hand box, to act with integrity even when it is not comfortable to do so, to choose courage over comfort, to be the person you really ought to be, the one who lives inside you. And they do say that smooth sailing never made a good sailor. These are choppy waters. This is difficult to navigate socially. To do the right thing always sometimes can be something that is socially difficult. But that is where you will build those muscles of your internal locus of evaluation. That is where you will start to feel significantly better about who you are. And ultimately, that is the sort of thing that will make you a much stronger, much more resilient person, able to bounce back from failures when they happen. Hopefully that's helpful, and thank you as always for helping me to build this channel by liking and subscribing, and I'll see you next week.